Well, welcome to the Hampshire Fair Cookery Theatre here at the South Downs Food Festival. My name's Natasha, I head up Hampshire Fair, which is the member organisation for food, drink and craft here in Hampshire and the Isle of Wight. We have 350 members, and I'm really pleased to be on stage now with Lola from Two&One Olive Oil, who are one of our members. Today Lola's going to share her story in terms of her background, how the business came about and olive oil, but more importantly is we're going to get going on some cooking. So today Lola's going to be cooking and showing us how to make some really simple and delicious tapas. So we want this to be quite interactive, so if you do have a question for Lola, please let us know, and I'm sure she'll be happy to answer those. So Lola, perhaps you can start by telling us, what are you cooking today?
Hello everybody, thank you Natasha. Well, I'm going to cook some really simple tapas that if you go to Spain, you're going to have them anywhere. So I'm going to start with some chili and garlic prawns. You might have heard it being called gambas al ajillo. So that is what we are going to cook today. And then I'm going to cook some local asparagus, just pan fried with a lot of salt and beautiful verde olive oil. And then I will accompany that with a little bit of sliced tomato, which is something that we always have at the table in Spain. So that is what we're doing.
Lovely. Okay. So Lola, I know before you moved to Hampshire, obviously there's 5 generations, I believe, in your family.
That's right.
So tell us a little bit about the history of Two&One Olive Oil and how you've come about.
Well, I am the daughter of a farmer and the granddaughter, great-granddaughter and thereabouts. And that is what my dad did. That is how I grew up in the kitchen, having only olive oil. There was no butter at home. My dad wouldn't allow my mum to buy it, and it really wasn't that available anyway. So I learned to cook with olive oil. My dad was a very proud Spanish Andalusian man, and he, whenever we went to different places, to relatives in the north, to the UK, what we would give to people was our produce. So we would bring olive oil, my dad's olive oil, to them. And that is what I did when I came to the UK and I met my husband and then his parents. Then my husband, then my English boyfriend, who couldn't speak any Spanish at the time, came to Spain to visit me in the summer and met my brothers, and he said he was a keen farmer. So they said, come with us to the fields, mid-July, 5 o'clock in the morning before the sun rose. The next day after landing in Spain, my husband went to the fields with my brothers. What does he remember of that day? Well, the heat, the thirst.
Like we had yesterday.
Yeah, exactly the same. The not understanding a word of what they were saying, but noticing the camaraderie of my brothers, my dad, and how the skills were being passed down from my dad to my siblings as to how to grow the olive trees, how to prune them, how to keep them safe. So let me tell you about what I am cooking. So I'm cooking the prawns, and they're going to be cooked, bathed in olive oil. And I am using sorry?
One for the waistline.
Yes. Well, it's a very healthy fat, and our body needs fats. So doctors, Tim Spector, Simon Poole, and so many others now are saying, let's do it the Mediterranean way. So let's use olive oil. So I'm going to, I don't measure it, okay? It's all by eye. Just a generous portion of olive oil, and
I'm hoping you can see that on the camera. It's a very generous portion.
Well, it is going to be the
when
sauce.
you said bathe, I didn't.
You didn't realise that I really meant it.
But you know, hopefully as we go through you'll get the aroma, because I just got the aroma, and I think that's the difference. With a really good quality olive oil, you can really, you know, notice the difference.
Yeah. Oh, this is quite. Let's keep it a bit lower.
So, Lola, I know earlier you mentioned something there about gifting olive oil.
Yes.
And in fact, I did actually see something recently saying instead of when you go round to friends for dinner, it's actually nice now to be gifting a bottle of olive oil instead of a bottle of wine.
It's the new wine.
It is the
Olive
new
oil
wine.
is the new wine, and that is why we have got the two options of an elegant bottle when you want to just impress your host or impress your guests at home, but when you want to cook with it and use it at home, we have produced these no frills tins for everyday use, and so that it's more affordable and you can use your favorite olive oil every day. So we are going to infuse the olive oil with garlic, and I put quite a lot of garlic as well. So we need to keep an eye because we don't want that garlic to go brown, so just enough. And I'm going to add cayenne peppers. These are whole cayenne peppers. I cannot find them here, but you can use sliced chilies instead. And I'm going to add 2 or 3, because we're going to make it really nice and chilly. And I recommend that before you serve it, you fish them out, because if one of your guests has the chili, the whole chili, it might be a bit of a shock. And I've done it, so I'm just warning you in advance. So we are letting the olive oil infuse with those flavors before we add the prawns, which is just here, ready to go. So in Spain, when I was
I
little,
can really smell the garlic coming through now. Anybody else getting those flavors? Yes.
and can you see how it is? You can see the garlic bubbling. It's a really nice hob, this one. It's just bubbling, so I'm keeping an eye, making sure that it doesn't go brown. So the minute I see one go brown on the edges, I add the prawns. As I was saying, there used to be tiny prawns in Spain, and there were many, and for tapas it's great because it is sharing, but I like king prawns, so that is what I'm using. And that is what
Lola, I lived in Australia for 15 years, so you can imagine being at Sydney fish markets, buying prawns there. It's a little bit different to buying prawns here in terms of the size and the tastiness.
And also because please make sure they are raw, okay? I couldn't believe it. I had to really look through everything and check everything to make sure they were raw. Why would you buy cooked prawns when you can cook them in olive oil yourself? Don't. Anyway, it's going a little bit changing colour, so I'm going to add the prawns to it.
And they're not going to take long, are they?
They don't take very long at all.
You can see when they change colour.
Yeah. And remember to add some salt.
Right.
Yep. And we're going to keep it low a little bit more. And I'm going to do the asparagus now. And the asparagus, they're local, fresh asparagus.
In season at the moment.
Exactly. That's why I thought let's do this. And I'm going to chop the ends. So let's get.
So we had Luke Emes, the MasterChef Professionals finalist, on the stage yesterday, and in fact he was also cooking seasonal vegetables, and he cooked with asparagus. And I actually asked him, because I don't know if anybody else learns this at home, as in they say just snap the asparagus and then discard the sort of root, but actually you're wasting a lot of it. And he actually was paring his down, and he said you don't really have to do that. His looked beautiful, I must say. I'm sure yours will look beautiful as well.
No pressure though, this is easy Spanish cooking, and I have added a little bit, or what I call a little bit of olive oil to the pan, so just enough to oil it. According to me, you might think there is a lot, but according to me, it's just a little bit. And I am using, instead of negra, which is the one that is the master of the kitchen, I am using our Verde Harvest, which is our early olive oil, which is very grassy and rich in polyphenols, and it's just that grassiness that goes beautifully with the green vegetables. So I'm putting them one by one, just, but normally I would just put them all in there. So
any questions from the audience for Lola? Any hands going up? No, Lola's covering.
Oh, we've got it. verde. But this is more like a finishing oil, and in terms of cooking, I only cook green asparagus and padron peppers. That is what I like cooking with this one. And then I love it with hard cheddar or manchego, just a drizzle. I love it, and I had last night with pizzas. When they come out of the oven, a little bit of Maldon salt and a drizzle of verde, and it just, I still have got the taste of last night in my palate. Also with pasta like bolognese, or it's a bit like a summery finishing, whereas Embero is a little bit more autumnal. So I like Embero for soups. When I finish a soup, or when I am cooking bread, that is the one that I will use. And we're going to use Embero today for the tomatoes, so that you have the whole range. So I'm cooking the asparagus, what we would say in Spanish, a la plancha. So just pan fried, and I'm going to make sure that they are a little bit, charred, just a little bit charred.
Okay.
And I like.
So you mentioned the health benefits, Lola. Obviously, I think there's a lot of talk around the Mediterranean diet. A teaspoon of olive oil every day is good for you. Is it?
Oh, definitely. It definitely is. It definitely is. I think that is the way that English doctors have come across with a solution for British people, not because they don't use olive oil in the kitchen. Then make sure that you have got 20 milliliters of olive oil every day. In Spain and in Greece and in Italy and in the Mediterranean countries, I've never heard of having to do that because, well, I've got my 20 milliliters here. I've got my 20 milliliters in the morning when I have a piece of toast with olive oil and grated tomato. So we, during our day, get those 20 milliliters. We don't need much more. So we are getting the health benefits through the enjoyment of cooking and eating it, rather than putting it on a teaspoon or a spoon and drinking it like a medicine.
Yeah.
It's good. It's helping people feel healthier. Please go for it. I don't need to do it, and I invite you to enjoy olive oil as you enjoy wine. Can you imagine drinking wine in a spoon? Because you need to have your 20 milliliters. That's how I see it.
Yeah. And I guess, in a way, you've taken us through the different types of olive oil you have. It's almost like doing wine pairings now.
Oh, yes.
Different olive oils paired differently with food. We just had Tinwood, and they were saying that their rosé sparkling actually goes very well with the prawns. I did try and keep the bottle for our demonstration, but they were having none of it. But ladies and gentlemen, on your seats you'll see the Hampshire Fair Local Produce Guide. We produce this every year, and it's a free guide. There's all of our members in there, so if you're looking for some inspiration, new places to try, there's places to eat, drink and stay. But also this year we've introduced some new trails, there's lots of recipes, and if you want to sign up to our free monthly newsletter, then we also run lovely competitions every month. So if you are a MasterChef fan, you can actually win dinner but with Luke MS at the Wickham Arms and an overnight stay. So do go onto our website and enter that competition. So we're going on to the tomatoes, Lola. Can I ask, are those Isle of Wight tomatoes? Yes, they are.
The shop was closed when I went.
Oh.
I did manage to get these from our local shop in Cheriton, the local village shop, but they didn't have local tomatoes, so
Yeah.
I would like to
tried
say
an Isle
that.
of Wight tomato.
They're my favourite, definitely. Definitely.
I'd say they changed your life, and if you haven't
Yeah.
tried an Isle of Wight tomato, there's a reason they're so delicious. They're actually now stocked in Marks and Spencer's. The Isle of Wight actually has more hours of daylight and sunshine than anywhere else in the UK. We needed that sunshine yesterday, but we had a great day regardless. But the Isle of Wight tomatoes, really delicious tomatoes, but also they're a zero waste company. So any tomatoes that don't quite make it to the supermarket, they make other products. So tomato sauce, pizza sauces, lots of other delicious tomato items.
and at the end another drizzle of verde just to warm it up. Okay, I've taken it out of the fire just a little bit to warm it up, and again the juices of these are just, well, you're not wasting it. They say wasting olive oil. Why would we be wasting it? We're going to have it. I'm going to slice some bread and then you can dip it. So,
And Lola, obviously you've used a lot of your olive oil there.
I think so.
I sometimes use mine sparingly at home, but you've inspired me to give it more of a glug rather than a pour. So in terms of the olive oil itself, can you reuse that, or?
Yes, you can. Definitely. Well, that's how we grew up.
Yes.
We would never ever throw the olive oil. Even if we did, if it had been used and it was starting to look, we would say dirty, you know, it has had enough uses, then my grandma would collect it from all of her children and make soap with it. So nothing would go to waste, nothing at all. But I'm not going to throw that, I'm just going to pour it on the top.
Right.
And it is the sauce of our... So I saw Raymond Blanc last weekend and he was making a butter sauce to go with his asparagus, which I'm sure it was delicious, but it just wouldn't, it doesn't sit with me. So what I do is I just pour the little sauce that is left, and we can just dip on it at the end. I tell you, there will be nothing left.
Nothing left.
No, nothing left.
And obviously the tomatoes, they're going with the asparagus, are they?
Yes, I'm just going to put a couple of tomato flowers.
Lots of lovely colour
to it.
And I think we eat with our eyes, so obviously with the colour it's looking lovely.
Again, a little bit of
Smelling good.
salt on that one, and then a drizzle of Embero to go on the top. And this is just so easy, you don't need to do anything else to the tomatoes, just salt and good olive oil, and it is ready. So that is the asparagus, and now we have got the prawns, which I have already turned on.
And I think you make a good point, and this is certainly something Luke was saying yesterday. If you use the best ingredients you can, then you don't have to do much to the food. You know, it almost cooks itself, and the simple ingredients. But in terms of storing olive oil, is there any tips and tricks? Should you keep it in a dark cupboard?
You know where you should keep it? On your table. That is where you should keep olive oil. Keep it on your table and finish off your dishes with olive oil. Just have your bread with olive oil. If you're a little bit peckish at the end of the meal, just bread and olive oil. That's my recommendation. And then because we are becoming so aware of light and everything, most good quality olive oils are in dark bottles so that they are protected from the light, and you can have it handy. That is what I would say, just have it handy, because out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say. Normally I would toast the slices of bread so that it is a little bit crispy, but today that's how they are.
Yeah.
And you can see this is very easy. It has taken no time. And we've got a lovely gambas al ajillo. Would you like me to take the chilies off just in case? No, they add colour, but please be very careful not to have them. So here we are.
Ladies and gentlemen,
We have got gambas al ajillo, espárragos a la plancha, and ensalada de tomate.
lovely. And if you could all join me in thanking Lola for her wonderful demonstration. We are happy to offer a few tastings. Obviously we can't accommodate everybody here, and it goes without saying, if you do have any food allergies or allergens, then please don't come and taste the food. And if you do try these prawns, I can imagine we won't have any friends later for the rest of the day, because obviously lots of garlic has gone in there. But I'm sure if it tastes as good as it smells, Lola, then it will be delicious, and thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm slicing all the bread so that you can either dip it or with a spoon just put the sauce on the bread.
And Lola does have a stall here today,
Oh,
so
yes.
if you are interested, please head over.
You can see the green gazebo over there, and you can taste the 3 olive oils and just enjoy their flavours. Thank you so much.
Yes, so we'll just take one look. Wow, that's a lot of oil.